If the business owner declined or only donated a paltry sum, police and department and other regulating agencies would suddenly take a garden. Sometimes I wet my plants vintage shirt. Great interest in that particular business. They could have been operating for years without anything even remotely approaching that level of scrutiny. I've also smoked weed and done coke with a cop. These are people who were super kind and smart people before they became cops. Now they are total assholes who drink and drive with their guns on them and pick fights at bars. When they're not working, they have a completely different moral code than anyone who isn't a cop. I've lost friends because they became bad cops and in turn bad people. Not one has become a good cop, unfortunately. Garden. Sometimes I wet my plants vintage shirt. Tank top, V-neck. Ladies' tee for men and women. Tank top, V-neck. You could drive through it without even knowing you were in it. Delays occur costing everyone time and money. I experienced this 2 separate times in 2 locations. The first time after about a week of this nonsense and our corporate people making no headway. Because a large corporation can't pay bribes. One day the general contractor walked in and hung new permits up on the door and said he took care of it and we were good. Fire marshal never even came to inspect the final product. I asked the GC and he said, cost of doing business, and he builds that cost into his quotes. Official garden. Sometimes I wet my plants vintage sweatshirt. Hoodie. Sweatshirt. Hoodie. The second time that happened, the company I worked for hired prevention company to deal with the marshal. The process before we hired them was not fixable. And once this guy came in all of a garden. Sometimes I wet my plants vintage shirt. Sudden everything was good. You don't have to take advantage of it to be a bad cop. The cops who do nothing to stop it are also bad cops. The cops who get in riot gear to go to a peaceful protest are bad cops. Just following orders is never a valid defense. The panel ruled there is no law that says theft of property seized pursuant to a valid warrant count as an unreasonable seizure under the 4th Amendment or a violation of due process rights. Under the 14th Amendment, other products